Good evening, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome aboard for another good show. And we're going to be talking about some things should be near and dear to all of our hearts. The presumption of innocence in the age of social media and the court of public opinion. All right. Uh, let me start by saying, putting out a disclaimer for everybody to hear, right? I am not a lawyer. I am not a constitutional scholar. But that doesn't matter when it comes to the Constitution. You know why? Because the Constitution governs us all. And I think everybody should know, at least have some kind of cocktail knowledge of what the Constitution says and how it applies to you as an individual and how it applies to us as a collective, as Americans. Um, you want to know what your rights are, okay? And whether you can adjudicate them yourself without a lawyer, that's another story. But we should all have some kind of understanding of what our rights are. So what we're going to talk about a little bit is the First Amendment, the Fifth Amendment. That's where I think the P Diddy conversation comes in, and the Eighth Amendment. And so, like all amendments have a string from one to another, but those three are definitely under attack, right? And it's being under attack right in front of our eyes. And let me tell you, the administration that's in power right now is not blameless. Matter of fact, a lot of it is their doing. And one of the problems is I think a lot of people don't see it. That's the problem. I think people really, really take I guess refuge in being bliss or ignorant of what's really going on. Because once you see something that shocks you awake, you cannot stop seeing it. And I guess everybody can hear me. I didn't do a mic check, so nobody told me they can't hear me. So I think you can. So listen, again, once you start seeing something, if you ever saw a picture that kind of shocked you, doesn't have to be violent. It just had to be something that caught you off guard. But once you saw it, you just can't unsee it. And so that's one of the things that I have come to understand about how the government works and how the people in the government work and how our constitutional amendments are being challenged all around us. And a lot of times I think we don't pay attention to it. And so we got some pretty high profile situations going on that can shed light on what I'm talking about. Okay. So these erosions of the amendment, the protections we get under the constitutional amendments should be noticed because they should play a part in how we vote as well. So I'll come back to that later. Um, so let me see who's in the chat so I can at least say hello. All right, Black Man Unfiltered, I see you there. And I see, hey, Trey Taylor, I see Trey. See, take heed to the message. All right, so there's a few people coming in. That's good. So I have some more I'm gonna tell you while we're going here. So I'm not gonna be long on this one, but when people could come up. But the next thing, like I said, there's three constitutional amendments that we're gonna touch on today. The first one, of course, the one on free speech. The fifth one is that the presumption of innocence, and the eighth one is on excessive force or excessive uh, uh, punishment. Okay. So anyway, so we'll talk about that a little bit. So let me continue by saying, listen, in reality, social media has put the court of public opinion on steroids. And your place of employment or where you make your money, or if you have endorsements or your partnerships, your businesses, all of those folks who have any sway in paying you money, they're listening to the court of public opinion, and they don't necessarily wait for you to have to be found liable or guilty before they act. We all know that. So, regardless of whether you're guilty or innocent, a lot of people are judged in the court of public opinion and punished. and punished without a day in court, without even having to uh, confront your accuser. Because the news media has a tendency to put your name out there and protect the name of the accuser, even if that accuser is a liar, right? So I think we should all feel kind of bad on that. So, Black David, if you could put the chart up so we can hit the chart number 2 and just go over that real quick, you know, on that presentation if you're out there. I know you said you had it loaded. You could hear me. Anyway, so I wanted to go over the First Amendment. Just yeah, chart number 2, yeah. I don't know if y'all can see it, but I'm gonna just read it out there anyway. All right, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. That means the government shouldn't be backing any particular religion, and it shouldn't stop you from practicing the religion of your choice. Okay. Or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Now, there's so many things in this First Amendment that we could talk about. Well, the first one is that we know the one that's big is abridging the freedom of speech. And we know over the last 4 years or not, uh, that freedom of speech has been abridged. I mean, YouTube itself has its own censors, and their censorship is not even. It's not evenly meted out. It's not, whatever they say in their guidelines is still up to the person who's meting out the punishment to interpret those guidelines, and they don't apply them evenly. It depends on what side of the fence you live on or you speak on. If you say we all walk on pins and needles on YouTube, especially the bigger you get, the more comfortable, not no, the more not comfortable, the more attention you have to pay to what you say and what is said on your platform. That's a given. Everybody knows that. And sometimes you slip up and all of a sudden you get a message that you're no longer monetized for this, that, and the other thing. BMU went through that himself on something that was really benign. And it was a two-way conversation that got him that way. So you never know how the censorship is going to impact you. Now, that's going to bring me to Elon Musk. Okay. I know a lot of Black people don't like Elon Musk because a lot of Black people still look at racism or people who may be anti-Black or racist as their biggest problem. I don't. Uh, I don't think that we need to keep concentrating on whether somebody likes us because of the color of our skin. I think that's crazy. I think it's time for us to move past that. The reason why Elon Musk is important is because when he bought Twitter at a loss to his own fortune, and he allowed people to speak on both sides of the aisle, not just liberal talking points. And the government itself was paying these I know the government is not come on, Trey. I know the government is not the YouTube, but we work on behalf of the government. Some of them do. And YouTube, and let me just keep going. The It was proven that the government was in cahoots with some of the social media platforms to limit the kind of speech that was being presented. And when Elon bought X, he ferreted that out. So and so YouTube is not immune to that. Neither is Facebook, and I'm gonna show a clip on that later on as well about that they have left and right leaning sides depending on who they want to be in agreements with. So there's also an issue with that with Zuckerberg and everything else. All right, so let's go to. All right, so let me with that. The other part, the other one that I want to show you is this guy who is a socialist, and his name is O'Malley, and he did an interview with Tucker Carlson on X, and that's the first clip. Black David, if you can play that first clip, and it's a short clip, you can play it from the beginning to the end. It's still less than 3 minutes, and he tells you his ordeal with the government. Well, rightly or wrongly, I don't know whether he is guilty or not, but he goes through something that touches his First Amendment rights and, of course, the Fifth as well. Go ahead and roll the tape.
Misreading this, I think your lawyer is right. Even if you are guilty of what they accuse you of doing, you're not guilty of any crime because you're not accused of violence, theft, no conventional crime. You're accused of having the wrong opinions. Am I missing something?
Well, yeah, because what they've said is that even if what we said was true, even if it's disinformation, we're accused of spewing Russian disinformation. And they have said that even if we said what we said is true, it still amounts to disinformation. So they're not necessarily accusing us of lying. They're accusing us of talking. So, I mean, that's an extraordinary, it's an illegal document. When we've appealed this thing, and we immediately went to court on this thing after 9 months of being held in a kind of legal purgatory, where we were just unindicted co-conspirators, which meant that we didn't have legal standing, and we couldn't go to court and say, hey, these people have just looted us, and they have handcuffed us, and they've shut down entire neighborhoods, refused to allow people to enter their homes. This is pre-dawn, or leave without showing identification. They've done all of these things, and we can't go to court and complain about it because we have no legal standing, because for 9 months we weren't charged with anything. They've just stolen all of these materials. They've looted our files. They've taken laptops and iPads and iPhones and things like that. So it's 9 months before they even indict us. And before that, they offered a $10 million bounty for any information that on the man, Alexander Ionov, who they said was the Russian for whom we were working, and on anybody who could provide information on us. They offered a $10 million bounty. And this is even after they've stolen, looted everything they've got. They have no case because there is nothing there. It's a totally fabricated case that they've made against us, and it's extraordinarily dangerous.
All right, thanks a lot, man. Hey, so you can see it, you can extrapolate his words, that whether you want to believe in socialism or not, I don't. They wanted to squash what he had to say. Now, this guy's out of St. Louis, and he leads a group of people who buy property. They just want to be left alone to live the way they want. Now, whether he's a Russian agent and all that kind of stuff, he still needs to stay in court, right? So by them raiding him, of course, his presumption of innocence was gone. And the fact that he's still free, and he's not on bond or chained or whatever, or out on bail, means that they didn't have enough to arrest him, right? So they want to squash what he's saying. They want to interrupt his operation. This is all under the Biden administration. And we all know, both Republican and Democrat, whoever's in charge, they weaponize the Department of Justice. And that's the biggest issue that I have. You know what I'm saying? So, so like I said, one of the things that they do is do those kind of things. And I think we should be aware that if they can happen to folks who are well organized, who may have money, who may be able to buy lawyers and all that, the little guy doesn't have a chance. Just doesn't have a chance at all. So if you could flip to the next chart for me, Black David, the one for the Fifth Amendment, and we can get talking about that one. All right. So when we talk about the Fifth Amendment, which is the one that I think that we have a whole lot of problem with what happened to P. Diddy. Now, again, whether you like Elon Musk or whether you like P. Diddy or whether you like Donald Trump, I'm not endorsing any of these men. I'm just saying that these are good examples for us to talk about when we look at this thing. So the Fifth Amendment is no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense for twice, and this is double jeopardy, where that comes in, of life and limb, or shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. That's when people plead the fifth, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without process of law, or nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. And I think that has some kind of thing with eminent domain. I believe that's part of that. So there's a lot into this thing, right? Into this to this particular thing. So I think what happened to P. Diddy was a violation of his Fifth Amendment rights. That's what I think. Um, uh, let me see if I have it there. Maybe not him. I mean, that might be the eighth. Anyway, so let me start by going back for a sec. One of the things that I think is the biggest thing, and this is not P. Diddy, this is John. Yeah, this is later on. But let me start with this part. I think the New York Survivors Act is a law pushed by a Democrat, you know, as an exception to snare Donald Trump for crimes that he may have committed 20, 30 years ago when they opened that 1 year. That was primarily using the government under a political means, use the department, the government to get one man. And then when they opened that law up, they snared, of course, 2,500 different people. Now, maybe some of those men were guilty and maybe some of them weren't. But if your name got mentioned in that sweep, that net, your presumption of innocence was pretty much taken away from you by the court of public opinion. And that public opinion is bolstered by the fact that everybody's on social media and it's 24/7. And I think there's a problem with that. I really do. I have an issue with that. I mean, I don't know why anybody wouldn't. And of course, these laws are, and I believe this, I don't think men in those positions like governor would be that fast to sign a law like that. But for a woman, I think she's thinking like a woman. If I could beat down as many men as I possibly can who may have committed a crime 20 years ago, I want to get them. And I think there's something wrong with having the law biased like that and being used to snare one man for political purposes. And I think, like again, if you could see it, it's hard to unsee it. Now, is Donald Trump innocent of a lot of stuff? Absolutely not. But he needs to have his day in court, and you need to come after him in the correct way. Like, for example, and this is not part of this particular one, but he got uh, uh, not convicted, but he was held liable for inflammatory discussion against Jean Carroll. Okay, E. Jean Carroll. And she was using the media to call him everything under the sun, everything other than child of God. And so he calls her a liar. And that cost him $80 million. I mean, that's an abuse of that's an abuse of Amendment 8, the Eighth Amendment. There's no way he should be civilly liable to that woman for that. And he should have his First Amendment rights to be able to say what he wants to say about her in retaliation, specifically since she was calling him a rapist. So I don't see how nobody can think that that's just and fair. And maybe it's because it's Trump and half the people hate him. But I think if they can get a guy like him, they can get any of us. That's my problem with these laws. And the fact that they usurp these things based on, political leanings and all that other kind of stuff. So I think there's some reflection that we all need to do. There's another guy. Johnny Depp is another one, right? He got in trouble because he was presumed guilty by a woman who they had a tumultuous relationship, but everybody decided to believe her. He lost millions and millions of dollars on the accusation alone. And even though he won his court case, he still was liable to her for some things of his part in it. So he didn't get away scot-free. I think it reduced her payment to him by $1 million. That's one of those things in the based on the sentence, and I mean based on the final deliberations. But I don't even know if he's even trying to collect the money from her. I just think he wanted to be free. So I got some examples I want to go through, man. You know what? And after this, I'm gonna show the second clip. Then after that, before we go into the third one, anybody wants to come up, we could debate a little bit. Right. So there's a gentleman. I don't know if you guys were Walking Dead fans, but I was. I used to watch it, crazy ass show. Then after that show, they had a thing called Talking Dead with Chris Hardwick. Now, Chris Hardwick lost a year of his year on air, lost his website, lost everything because his girlfriend who cheated on him, she was sleeping with a lot of other men, and he left her. And she wanted to reconcile, and he didn't. And so she got mad at him and said that he was an abuser in all the worst ways. So he lost, like I said, his network job. He lost his website. He lost his endorsements. They vilified this man without one day in court, without one police record, without anything, based on her word alone, the believe all woman thing. And after a year, they found out she was all full of shit. Nothing happened to her, by the way. And he started to slowly get his job and his endorsements and everything back. But you could tell he was broken. You could just tell by his demeanor that, that ordeal of her just being able to say what she said, stripping him of his presumption of innocence, destroying his bag and everything. And I think sometimes when you see a man come back, that was his vindication because they never came after the woman, So his vindication was getting his job back. But you could see the toll it took on him. He looked older. He looked frail. He looked he looked beaten, from what she did. And, so that's one of those kind of things where, again, social media and the presumption of innocence attacks the presumption of innocence because the court of public opinion is on steroids, and the most negative voices talk louder than anybody else. They just do. Now that brings us to P. Diddy. We've seen enough of that, right? He's walking around free. They perp walked him, and they did whatever they did, raided his properties, all in, it was convenient that the damn media was there at the same time they got there. Perp walked his sons and the help and everybody out of the house. Now, if he's guilty of anything with children, of course he should get punished. But they did this all on the allegations of a woman who spent 10 years with him, and he probably did owe her some kind of redress, but not because he took advantage of her, because I think she played along in a lot of it, and she wanted her cut. And that's why he gave her a cut, so he should have did it before he left her. The other thing is the dude, Now, does anybody of us really believe Little Rod was being used as a pinata as a man, a grown man? I mean, listen, you know, okay, so they raid his properties based on what Little Rod says, because he started mentioning child, abuse or whatever, the trafficking word, all through his allegations. And so they say, okay, we're going to mobilize Homeland Security and everybody else, and we're going to call the damn media and everybody, and we're going to go get P. Diddy. But in the same time, nobody's arresting him. He's free to move around. Now, if they had any kind of smoking gun going in to do all of that, he should at least have been put under arrest and out on bail. But no, they just wanted to make a show of it. Now, how can P. Diddy get any fair trial in America anywhere based on that? Based on the media blitz, based on all this stuff that's coming out. Now, where there's smoke, maybe there's fire. But you still have to have a presumption of innocence before they prove you guilty, and you got to be in some kind of impartial court of law. That's what I'm thinking. And if a guy who's a mogul like that can be destroyed so quickly, and let me tell you, and I'm gonna just add this in it. Forget about the black community thing. I, I really don't care, because everybody and their mother's coming out against them. Hey Trey, you're gonna have a chance to come up here and say your piece, man. So anyway, so I listen. I don't care if you like P Diddy or not. I think he deserves his day in court just like everybody else, and and that's all I can say there. The other thing is, and before I play the next clip, uh, and I want you to play this one too, right coming up, Black David. Tulsi Gabbard is another one who was attacked by the Democratic machine and accused of something she didn't get a chance uh, uh, to get her clear her name. She just threatened to sue the first perpetrator to do it. But she has some things to say about what's going on in our government and how some of our protections in the amendments in the Constitution are being challenged. So if you could play clip number 2, I'd appreciate it.
Of we the people taking ownership and responsibility for the kind of leadership that we want and the kind of future that we want. And right now, I am sounding the alarm and encouraging everyone to sound the alarm. The name of my book is For Love of Country, Leave the Democrat Party Behind, specifically and very directly pointing to those who pose the greatest threat to our democracy, to our freedom, to our security, and our ability to live in peace right now. And my concern, my grave concern, is that in this next election, if President Biden or Harris or whoever they may put up, if it's not President Biden, if they are allowed to remain in power, then we will get to a place where the country that I love, that you love, that so many of us love and appreciate will become unrecognizable, and to a place where the freedoms that we are already starting to lose, that we won't be able to get them back.
I know a lot of people have been to jail in the last 3.5 years, like a lot. And I've interviewed a lot. Just interviewed one today. And they've gone to jail for their political views and for their willingness to challenge the people in power. If Biden or if Clinton and Obama get reelected using Biden as a cutout and Kamala Harris, are you worried that, I mean, we're talking about like actual American citizens going to jail. We're going to see a lot more of that, it feels like to me.
We are already seeing more of that. And I have no doubt that that will only escalate dramatically, because every time, they could win the election by theoretically one vote, and they will run around the country and say, well, the American people have given us a mandate to continue the great work we are doing for this country. Well, the great work that they see they are doing for this country is actually for themselves. And they are completely undermining the fabric uh, that that makes this country what it is.
That's for sure. But are you worried? I mean, you're in this interesting position because, just like me for a long time, they thought they could use you. They thought they loved you. And so they hate you with a very intense and very specific kind of hate. And you've given them the finger at every turn.
Yeah.
Like, and you won't stop. So, like, do you ever think to
I
yourself,
wouldn't be surprised.
yeah,
I
like,
wouldn't
why
be
wouldn't they indict you for being a Russian agent or whatever?
There's as we are seeing now, they are completely willing to use the Department of Justice and law
Yeah.
enforcement to serve their own political means. So no, it wouldn't surprise me at all. They are showing that even without evidence, without basis, without anything to back up their claims, they are, they and this is what they've been doing this against Trump since he first ran for office in 2016, launching years-long investigations into him, this whole Russia collusion thing, things that were, proven through those
Okay. Then it, yeah. All right. So listen. So I see a lot of folks coming in. You know. Oh man, that is great. I love it. You know what? You know what? I like being right in the face of so many people being wrong. You know, I mean, this is great because as soon as they can, you could drop the link. They could come up. But can you put up the Eighth Amendment thing for me, Black David? 'Cause I think a lot of people are stuck, man, in their with their thinking, and I don't need to try to unstuck them today or unstick them today, but we ain't gonna get past saying the same old bullshit about worrying about racists and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, listen, okay, the Eighth Amendment is where I think we have some issues as well, and it's under attack. You know, this amendment, it forbids the use of excessive bail, and of course, the democratic regimes went all the way to the wrong side of the damn pendulum, and they letting all kinds of fools out, okay, or fines or in criminal trials, as well as punishment considered to be cruel and unusual. And the original text was written as such, you know, excessive bail shall now be required, no excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. So again, now if we look at the man, the orange man that a whole bunch of people hate because he might as well maybe be a crook in different ways. The fine that they levied against him in New York was unprecedented for the so-called crime that he committed. The AG came out with some obscure law to say that if you lie to a creditor that you know your value of your property is some arbitrary number higher than what it is, and they lend you money, you committed a fraud. But the point is, the second part of that is that you're not willing to pay it back, and you can't pay it back. So there was no real crime or criminal uh, person who was harmed by his property values. They loaned him money based on his numbers, and he paid them all back, and they testified in his behalf. So when they levied that $450 million fine, it was excessive. It was based on it violated his Eighth Amendment rights, and that's why the appellate court reduced it, right? And now I think he might even have a basis to get that shit thrown out, right? Whether it's right or whether it's wrong, he had a whole bunch of billionaires come out and speak about how New York State is ruining themselves as a place to do business in because of coming up with talking about seizing properties. That's what they do in third world countries and countries where there's no law and order. They seize property. You know, and so I'm telling you, if they can do that to a guy like him, they could do it to anybody. And I think people should be, you know, at least aware, you know, of that. You know, at least aware of it. Now, I know people can't unsee the fact that I'm using Trump as an example, but it's just an example because it's extreme. Just an extreme example of somebody getting an excessive fine. I think we all know about extreme examples of people getting unusual punishments, right? I mean, there is a case, I don't know if it's New York. I just read something. I should have kept it for this particular podcast, where the appellate court is reducing 1,200 years of sentencing across across the state on prisoners who've gotten jail time that was excessive. 1,200 years reduced off of sentences because of excessive sentences. Now, if we did a trace to how many of those jails or those state jails were run by private prisons, we could probably trace back to the judges who may got kickbacks for giving people elongated prison sentence. So the private prisons could continue to make money off of the head count, because private prisons don't work without chattel. I mean, it's all connected. I mean, I think the federal government was supposed to divest at the federal level of private prisons. We should get rid of private prisons, period, at every level. So I'm just telling you, I mean, there's things going on that, I guess, if you're liberal minded, you just don't see it. You just don't see it. I mean, because the way things are impacting in the Black community, people only want to see what they want to see. So if anybody wants to come up, you can. I mean, I got a couple more things I want to show, but on this one, come on up. Say your piece. I see a whole bunch of stuff in the back. The one more thing is Carly Russell. Carly Russell, that's just the last thing. The thing with Carly Russell is that I agree with the judge saying that she's not a menace to society. I like the fact that he sentenced her to 6 months in jail, but he commuted it. I believe that's the proper term, to just probation. However, I agree with the DA. I think the DA was correct that she should have been made to disclose what she was doing in those days she was missing. She didn't have to do that. And I think that they shouldn't have gave her any sentence until they had that information, or at least made her plead the fifth. They should have made her plead the fifth, and then meet her out whatever punishment based on her going on record saying that she may or may not have been doing something illegal during that period of time. But they should have made her do it. But she should not have gotten off without telling somebody or telling the court what she actually was doing during that period of time. If she was just banging out somebody, she should have been made to say that. If she was doing something illegal, she couldn't self-incriminate herself, so she could have pleaded the fifth, but at least it would have been on record. And that would have satisfied me fully. But okay, the sister didn't do any jail time. Cool, she embarrassed the family enough. But so yeah. Well, listen, there's nothing I can say that you're not going to disagree with, Trey. So you could come up and do it verbally. That'd be cool. Anyhow, so anybody who wants to pop up, I'm here. I got one more clip, but I'm gonna leave that towards the end, because I think that clip is the most profound. And nobody wants to come up, so this could be a nice short one, Uh, so listen, all I'm saying is that whether you agree with my take on all of this stuff or not, doesn't matter. But the one thing I think we all can agree on, that in some way, shape, form, or fashion, First Amendment rights are under attack. You can't say what you want to say. And we're not talking about curse words. We're not talking about attacking people. You can get punished on all of these media platforms for saying something that's opposed to the people who own the platforms. Period. And that is a pathway to censorship. There's no doubt about it. And then Elon Musk, love him, hate him, or whatever, he allows you to have discourse on both sides. Now, on X. Now, there's a lot of shit that goes on X, but you can get out of that algorithm by just removing yourself from it. but you could say your left-leaning shit, you could say your right-leaning stuff, you could say your opinions of the government on Biden, on Trump, and you don't get kicked off because of that. You can't, you can say your things about women, you can say your things about men, you can have your positions on X that you can't have here on YouTube, that you can't have on Facebook. And you definitely can't have this shit on TikTok. You know, definitely. Right? That is the Japanese definitely are running that thing. Right. You know, so I don't know what you mean by that. Yes, he does. He does. No, no, he does. No, that's you're not right, Easy Money. That's not true at all. All right, wait, anyway, listen, man, you gotta stop yelling at me from the goddamn chat. Get the hell up here and say what you gotta say. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna get into any arguments with you, but just verbally say yourself some right in this shit and get up here and say what you gotta say. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Listen, nobody's saying you listen, when you say whatever you want to say, you moving the goalpost. You can't yell fire in a crowded goddamn auditorium. We're talking about your opinions, your opinions, and they're making it smaller and smaller of what you can say, even if your opinions are legitimate. So to say that, listen, of course, people, yeah, I'm on Twitter. Yeah, I'm on Twitter. So the point really is that whether you can say what you want to say or not, it depends on what you mean by want to say. If you have a point and I have a counterpoint, we're supposed to be able to say point, counterpoint. And if you have an issue with the alphabet community, you should be able to say that. And if you have an issue with the genocide that's going on, you should be able to talk about that. You should have, if you have an issue with what's going on in Europe, you should be able to talk about it. It's the problem is a lot of people don't know how to say their piece without getting personal about it. They can't just talk about the issues without, pointing a finger and saying, well, you're this and you're that. And that's not even what we're supposed to be talking about. You got an issue, talk about the issue and whatever your opposing parts are. And that's the keys to debate. So anyway, so listen, if nobody wants to come up, that's
I'm
great.
here.
Oh, I don't see you. Okay, so they got this new thing where you don't have to show yourself. Oh, you calling in. Go ahead, Trey. Go ahead, man.
Yeah,
You know
what's
what?
going
I
on?
might as well. That's you, Trey Taylor. Are you on now, right?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, okay, man. Yeah, man. I'm not used to not seeing you, man. Go ahead, man. Swing for the fences, goddammit.
I only came to address one thing.
All right.
And that's the First Amendment and the freedom of speech portion.
Okay.
A lot of people get this freedom of speech thing sort of confused. People will say, well, the freedom of speech says that I can say anything I want to say, and that's not how that works. You can't make criminal threats against somebody, right? That would be illegal. So the freedom of speech protects against that. The other part of this is that the freedom of speech has more to do with what you say on public space versus what you say on private space or in private entities. So when we start talking about the YouTubes and the Twitters and this and that's not against First Amendment speech, because you can go on public space and say anything you want to. I worked in DC for years. I can't tell you how many marches and protests I did that were downtown where people were saying exactly what the hell they wanted to say about whatever the case was. Every year, the World Bank they protest the World Bank every year, every single year. There's anti-gay, there's pro-gay protest every year. In Los Angeles and Beverly Hills, there was a guy who famously stood in front of the Louis Vuitton store and protested against Louis Vuitton. It was on public space, and police never touched him. He has a right to do it. So I think the issue is the confusion is people think, well, I should be able to say whatever I want to say on YouTube. Well, no. There's a policy on YouTube because it's private, and if you don't like it, it's a privilege. If you don't like it, you got to go. Now, could you go onto your street and go say what you want to say about YouTube? Yeah, as long as you went through the proper channels throughout your government and got a permit, nothing's going to stop you. They can't stop you from saying anything. I think there's a lot of confusion.
No, no, no. Let me hit on what you just said because I do agree with the fine point you put on it. But the thing is that YouTube has policies that says like you said, but you could be within those policies. But the policy makers, if they don't like the position you're taking, sometimes I think they cut you out whether you're violating the policy or not. Now that could still be their right, but so that's the problem. It's not consistent. It's whoever's reading the damn thing at the time. So if let's can we kind of agree that private organizations could be left leaning or right leaning?
Oh, absolutely. That's the human element.
Okay, okay.
Absolutely.
So what I'm
That
saying,
that
what
that,
I'm saying,
that's the human element, and that's never going to change. You can even look at it
yeah, I know that. That's what I'm.
on
That human element is
a
what
more
I'm talking
micro.
about. Go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Well, the issue with the human element is that it's never going to be perfect. And you can even look at it on a smaller scale. How many platforms have we been on? If we say something that the host or disagrees with, they cut us off or they kick us out. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of the same
Yeah.
sort of concept. Like, oh, you're not saying what I want to hear because this is the agenda I'm trying to push, and you saying something contrary to that. So you got to go. It happens. You know, it happens to me often.
It happens a lot, man. It shit happens a lot.
But that's all I want to say.
So
I got to roll. But
no, but
that's all I want to say. No, it's a great topic, though. Okay.
that was a good point. That was a fine point that I missed because I agree with what you said there. Except that there's some additional things that's going on where if you're leaning a certain way, that could also means that you can get additional benefits from the government people who are in power. They will never admit it, but I think it was outed on Twitter. That's why he fired all the staff. So anyway, but that's a good point. Which is, you don't have anything else?
Nah, that's it. That's
Oh,
it. It's a good topic. It's a good topic.
I appreciate you coming up.
And
Yeah.
and the Fifth Amendment. There's sometimes there's confusion there too, but that is as black and white as it looks. I would like to see you guys tackle the Fourth Amendment. A lot of people don't understand the Fourth Amendment rights. I like to see y'all take a swing at that one.
Yeah, man. It's funny. Maybe that's a future conversation we could have. But something just hit me with the Diddy raids, and I know that you have to gather information, but there's ways to do that before you make a public spectacle and then let the man walk around free.
You know what the issue is with the public spectacle though.
Yeah.
A lot of the time they don't have much control over it. Like for instance, when I got into a chase or something like that, or I got into a gun, like the press knew, and you know why? Because they listened to our radio. They have the same. So they know, you know what I mean. So I listen. Unless somebody specifically called these news stations, they have helicopters that are circling 8 hours a day. They're paying attention. They have informants on the street. They have people who they pay to them. They have a lot of things. They work just like hand in hand, like the feds do on most times, where they know just as much information. In some cases, they can get more information because they're not bound by the legal structure. And so I don't think that you were publicly making it a spectacle. But I will say this: when them feds come and kick your door in, this ain't because they just found something out about 10 minutes ago. If they kicking your door in, that means that they've been investigating you for at minimum 6 months. They've been watching you. And does anybody know the Fed conviction rate? I'll give it to you. It's like 97%. It's like 97%. They don't miss. When they go and go get you, they get you. They got you. So when I hear they kick it in both doors at two different locations, that means that the Miami office was doing what they supposed to be doing, and the Los Angeles office was doing what they supposed to be doing. They've been watching that dude for a while.
Well, listen. If they can find evidence of kids going through there, then he's going to deserve what he gets. I don't have that much compassion for the adults.
Let me
But the
think about
kids,
it because
go ahead. What's up?
because what Trey is saying totally correct because I be paying attention to a lot of the court information and be going on the news. They were based on an investigation based on not just on Casey but other cases as well. There's other people who file lawsuits against PDD, and they ask these people to submit what they have against them.
Right.
So when they're doing a proper investigation, Trey is correct. The federal don't play around. If they come to your
No, I know
home,
that.
There ain't no public be the same thing when they caught Trump with the documentation at his home crib at Mar-a-Lago, and they had tons of pictures. So when people go, oh, they didn't, I'm like, mm-mm. Let's stop the nonsense. Plus, Trump, he's been on for over 50 years. There's a lot of shit he did. Plus, let's not forget, allegedly he raped his first wife and ripped her hair. So I don't know why I defend him for what. Not the
You're not
worst
defending
person.
him, but we just use him as an
No,
example.
but I'm telling you, Trump is the worst person to defend. That's number one on the list in New York. Diddy is the second worst. So those two names you want to just stay away from because they got way too much dirt on them.
Listen, listen, let me put it to you this way. Let's just say you're correct, right? I don't think Trump is the worst person in the world, even though I wouldn't vote for him. However, if he becomes president, what's all the people sitting around here who are so frightened of this man going to do for 4 years?
It's the same guy who said the Central Park Fire should get a death penalty.
Oh man,
Really? But
okay,
come on.
all right. So
I
you
live in the, I live in this city more than
you know,
30 years, and the bunch of stuff they
I'm
got
from
been
New
doing.
York City, so I mean, wait
I
a
know,
minute.
but
What he did with Central Park 5 was a lot of it was based on the fact that they coerced a confession out of them.
and they have proof that there was anything, and even if they have proof,
Yeah,
he still pushed for it.
yeah.
He is
So, well,
known,
I'm not
he is
particularly.
known for his antics. He
Are
don't like
we
black
still
people.
well? Okay, Black Dave, we still getting on him for the Central Park 5, but
No, not the, no.
I
It's
don't hear
more
none
than
of you
that.
guys getting on Biden for the shit that he did to black people.
Oh, we've been doing that.
No, man, get out of here. You guys giving him
We've
a
been
pass.
doing
That's
that.
why you want to go vote
What?
for the dude. I mean, listen,
The 85 crime bill that he did?
uh,
Come on.
man,
We've
you know
been
what,
doing that.
man? Listen, everybody's just paying lip service to the 95
No,
crime bill. Broke more black families than
no.
Trump
Biden
ever
ain't
had.
getting no love from anybody. You don't get no love from anybody from New York. Let's be honest.
Anyway, so listen, you know what? Well, you know what? I think we have people that not necessarily want to come up, but we could
We
play
got,
the last clip.
you got another one. You got KP from KT up right now.
Oh, okay, he's in the back, or he's in the back.
He the audio.
Yeah. So what's up? I can't see who's
Yo,
on the
can you hear me,
audio.
R-Pain?
Yes, I can. Go ahead, man.
Yo, I'm at the position that you're at. Everybody deserves a right to the fair trial. I can understand all the stuff that Trump's did was wrong. Yeah. It's been in the news. That's cool. But I'm not about to make my decision based on what the media keeps telling me every day about somebody that they claim they hate. But I'm watching a guy that passed a crime bill and everybody went to jail, and then everybody's supposed to love him and hold his leg like he's Van Gundy or something. Now I don't understand it. I'm just at the position where I'm in the middle, where if I see what policies that you're going to implement that's going to benefit me, that's where I'm going. More likely than not, I cannot see myself going for a guy that's been in office for almost 50 years and nothing he's done has helped, quote unquote, black people. He helped some alphabet people though. I mean, so maybe we should all identify as that if we want to get some help. Maybe. But because that seems to be the only thing he's doing, him and
Yes.
Obama. So I'm not about to go with this narrative that, oh yeah, Trump bad white man. Yeah, he's just as bad as the other ones. But
Both of them
at
bad.
the end of the day, I'm not believing this narrative where you pushing me one way and everything's the alphabet, where they took over the alphabet, the rainbow, and every damn thing else, bro.
Yeah,
That's true.
that is true. I listen, man. I say, yeah, people have to just have discernment, man, on what they're gonna do, and we got to take the veil off and not vote one way because we are used to it or we're afraid of racism. I think we need to put that to bed. I mean, for all the shit that we've been through, I can't stand the conversation that somebody's racist, this is race. I mean, come on. I mean, we're never going to have a colorblind society. And for anybody who's on their square, I mean, you ask the average black person, name me the racial incident that stopped you from doing what you want to do. You'll find it. You'll be surprised that very few people could actually point to something that they directly impacted them.
And the same people in the same vein will tell you in the next breath that they don't live in the inner city.
Right, that's right.
Like, bro,
That's
like
right.
I don't have time for the goofiness, bro, because I don't live in the inner city either. So I'm not playing that kind of game. At the end
Yeah,
of the day, I want what's best for my children and my family, bro.
absolutely.
I don't have time to play these games identity politics don't work for black males. It don't. It never
No,
has.
it doesn't. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so I don't have time to play that game, bro. They're not trying to see us. The only way they want to see us is if we looking like Don Lemon, man. And that's it. I'm gonna drop.
That's funny. And listen, you got to stick
He's
around
not.
because I got
He
a
is not
closing
lying.
for everybody, man. You know,
He's
because
not lying on that one.
because like I said, you know, everybody, you know, we're talking about black male leadership. We got to find a way to lead our people, black Americans, out of the morass that we're in right now. And we're spending a lot of time talking about relationships and shit like that, and you know, and you know, some of that is of course necessary. But I think the people who actually want to be together, man and woman, they find a way to do it, regardless
Yeah,
of social media,
yeah, but
regardless of this impact or that. So leadership in that sense, there's no such group leadership. Black men are supposed to lead black women out of the goddamn abyss. No, no, people have to want to come. However, I think there's a way for us to lead people out of the morass that we're in, but I'm gonna leave that for my part and thoughts. You know.
that right there is the
Well,
fact.
yeah, and here we go again, man.
No, he's
You
not
know,
lying.
you control your own capital, don't you?
But
Don't you control your own
that's
resources?
that's individualism.
No, no,
So
no, it's not. No, no, no. Hold on. No,
no,
stop. I mean, this groupthink thing. You know, we have corporations, we have small businesses. The fact that all the small businesses that we have are not in a coalition is not because of racism. It's because they don't collaborate with each other. I mean,
that's
there's
gonna
nobody
and that's
stopping
gonna
us
have
from
no
building.
lobby power.
Nobody stopping black people from building those conglomerates that give you wholesale prices and shit like that. Nobody stopping us from doing that. We do it. We have to trust each other to do it, and it has nothing to do with racism. It has nothing to do with white people. It's a choice. You know, I mean, like me, right? I have a couple of black owned businesses that I buy shit from, right? You know, I can't solve all the world's problems, but I can at least say, well, you know, I want to get something from this guy. I know they're black owned, but they don't promote themselves that way. But I know it is. This another guy, he's black owned. I put my money over there, and that's my part. If I can find somebody that gives me a product that I like, and they happen to be black, I'm a buy from them. I think if we just made a commitment to do that, just one or two people, yeah, you know, well, come on, easy. Why do we gotta be? We gotta be what 10% of the Fortune 5? We could build a Fortune 500 company, right? I mean, it could be built. These guys built it, right? I mean, I don't know what you want me to say to that, easy. Come on. So you still on there, KP?
Yeah, he left.
Oh, you know? All right.
Yeah,
So I'm just saying, if anybody else comes up, so that's a new feature. People just call in; they don't even have to show up. So how am I supposed to know that they're there? You're gonna let me know?
I have to let you know.
Okay, well, that's cool, man. I like the company, but so listen, what you
Remember,
got?
I'm the head. I'm the head engineer.
So what you got to say? You're up here.
I will just say this right now to put it on it to say in one language, no one breath, black people are not a monolith. But at the same time, you can have a community where there's no shared ideal of goal because one, you can't go to an arena thinking that you will have someone who fight for when you don't have the political power or political leverage. That's something how to build within a coalition. That has to be done with the community. The reason why people are saying there's no community, because remember, I keep saying it for a while. If you come here and say black people are not a monolith, but yet no one can agree on a simple goal and agenda to work on, what do you expect? Plus, when it comes to black businesses, yeah, some of us buy from black businesses. But how often do we all come together and build that black business to be a black corporation?
But who is that
That's
up to? Who is that up to? The business owner, correct? The
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 business owner can
dreams
do.
of
No,
the
the business
business
owner
owner.
can do their part. The consumer, everybody make a choice.
Yeah, but
That's that's
you
the,
use the word everybody. If you have,
I
well,
know,
let
but
me put it to you this way: if you have a great enough product and you don't market yourself just to black people, even though your business is black owned, because I
mhm,
think it's foolish just to market to black people unless you have a specific product that only black people can use. then you're going to limit yourself to the size you can get. But if you have a product that people like across the board and you market yourself accordingly and you give a quality service and product, the limits of your growth is how much market share you could penetrate. And that's it. That's the way business is run. There's no racial component to that. So it's what's your drive is. It's what's your drive. It's what's your ambition. It's how big you want your thing to get. I mean, and that's it. How much you can handle, how many people you could hire to do the job, how many people you trust. And if you could build coalitions along the way, that's what you do. I mean, but I think that all of these so-called barriers we have are self-inflicted, and
And I
and
think that's what the problem comes to play. What you just said totally
man,
clear, it's self-inflicted. Even though it's self-inflicted, if black people want to make the change to build themselves up or look at the point finger or how you want to say this, there's a lot of business out there that not catering to black people alone. They cater to all group of people.
that's
Problem is,
right.
that a lot of people will say this. When you have black people come to that black establishment, what normally happens in most black establishments that people are asking for discounts just because
Well,
we are
yeah,
skin
but what
color.
does that have to do with it, though, Black David? I mean, listen. In every business, there's some kind of cross to bear. The people who ask for a discount, you just tell them no. If you just tell them no, if they don't want the service at the price the service costs, they can leave, and you
Yeah,
should just be happy that they're gone. I mean, that's
yeah,
right.
but
So
these
if you're
days,
desperate for every dollar that comes in, then your business model needs to be
but
looked at.
but these days it has been a trend when you tell certain people no, they feel like they're entitled to trash your business
Uh,
in any way. And
listen, now, see, now
you
you're
may
giving
not
me what if.
no, hold on, you may not agree with that, but this has become a trend as of late.
No,
And
listen.
you don't have to take my word for it.
No,
You
that's not
don't.
that I don't take your word
But
for it. I'm just
there a
saying.
couple of businesses in the past
So
nine
what do
months.
you do?
I'll
What do
get
you do? You comply with the person
no, we
whining
don't
for a
comply.
discount?
We don't comply.
All right then. So what
What
difference
the
does
best
that
thing you
make?
can do when they want to damage your business, you have to call the cop and let them get carried away. That has been a trend. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can control. I understand you're passionate about it, but we
I'm
speak
not,
about we speak about reality. This is
that's
what's
not
been
real.
going on
First
for
of
a
all,
while.
you got wait. First of all, listen. uh, Whatever that business is at, where people come in and looking for a discount, or else they'll trash your spot. Maybe you should look for a better location. How about that? Maybe
Wow.
maybe you
I'm
should be
glad you
in a
mentioned
better
that.
location.
I'll
You
give you a
know.
few examples. This happened. This no, I'm glad you said that. But I'll give you a few examples. This happened
Okay.
in Manhattan,
All right.
not in Brooklyn, not in Queens, not in Brock,
All right.
Manhattan.
All right. Where at,
It was
man?
on the news. I think it was on between fourth or eighth. I'm not sure around that area, but I know the location. This
Okay.
happened in broad daylight.
All right. So
This
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 you're
this,
talking about
this
the
the
East.
issue. No, I'm talking about I'm talking about people who feel like they get it out of place, out of line, feel like they can do whatever they want, and they feel like they're too entitled. Remember, you have young people who go about sabotaging business. And let's not forget, there had been in a news
Give me a
report,
solution
hold
to
on,
that.
there'd be a news report that all these chain robbery that be doing in broad
Yeah.
daylight, it was set up by somebody who was paying these people to rob other people's businesses.
Oh, okay. 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 So tell me what your solution is to that.
All I, all I can say is this. For anybody who want a business, make sure you have proper security. Make you have a security guard in your business. That's what I'm going to tell you right off the back.
Okay. That's something. That's
Because
something.
not because these days right now, you have a young generation who feel they're too entitled. They can do whatever they want. They act like that there's no repercussion, and they get out of the way. This been going on for a while. And I'm seeing about a YouTuber talk about how some of these people running a great business, but someone be so able to go there and do something real stupid, and even record themselves doing something stupid. So this is
Yeah,
not a
I
new.
hear
This
you,
is
but
not a new thing.
okay, but see, okay, listen. If I was going to be a business owner, would I listen to Rich Payne saying, "Listen, follow your dreams and try to build your business," or Black David saying, "If you build your business and you don't give a guy what he wants, he's going to destroy it." You know what?
All
I mean,
I'm saying
come
is
on.
all I'm saying I'm being logical. All I'm saying that how you settle your business, they make you have proper security. That's all I'm just gonna say.
I'm just saying
I'm
the
not saying
pitfalls.
don't,
The
I'm
pit.
not saying don't run your business.
No. I know you're not saying that, but I'm saying the pitfalls of the shit that could go wrong should not paralyze people from doing what their dreams are. That's all I'm saying.
I know.
No, well, but you just gave me a whole litany of why people gonna kick you, break your
No,
shit up
because
if you
like
don't give
I
them what
said,
they want.
we live in a society people like to take advantage of anything and everything.
Okay,
Give
so
me,
all
give,
I
give
need
me,
to do
look,
is
give me,
be a
I give another example. Look what's going on with real estate right now, where people can squat on your property
yeah.
and sue you
Okay,
for that.
uh,
So
okay.
you can't say that's not happening, really.
No. See, wait a minute though, Black Day. We're moving the goalposts. You know what's wrong with that? Is the your governor of New York, right? She was
Hmm.
quick to open up a law so women could come and trash men for shit that happened 20 years ago. She could pen a law in an instant, stopping that squatter bullshit. Just like the
Now,
dude did it. Wait a
I,
minute. Just like the dude did in Florida. Where's she at? All right. So you got this liberal chick up there. She's probably pining for the damn
and with
squatters.
nothing to do, that you sue her. And that law is not constitutional, that you sue her for it and let her pay the price for it. It's
Well,
that
no,
simple.
I'm just what the point I'm just trying to say, since you brought up the squatters thing, that could be ended tomorrow if she
And it's
stood on
and it should.
anything other than trying to get
And it
men
should.
and destroying men. What?
And it should be ended because, like I said, the problem with people these days, they're putting out law without being double checked before getting put into the books because they want to get away
Yeah,
with it. I'm just
right.
saying, what you sow is what you reap. Let people pay for the consequence. That's all I'm going to say. If you don't cause havoc and damage to people, property, or businesses, then they should just go to the excess. That'll give you 2 months, that'll give you 2 years. So you think about it.
So let me ask you a question back on the topic. So at least some of these amendments that we were talking about,
Hmm.
do you see any erosion in the protections that they provide us or not?
Based
The
on the
first one, free
First
speech.
Amendment, I have seen that be taken out of pocket several times, especially on a corporate level. But
Okay.
it's kind of like totally uncalled for because in some businesses, it's more left leaning than right leaning.
Yeah,
It's
that's right.
okay for someone to say X, Y, and Z in a corporate environment, but if you were to speak against it, oh, it's a problem. It's a write up.
Right.
There's a
Right.
problem with that.
So
And
so let me give you some.
even HR know there's a problem with that. They're not doing anything to fix it.
So let me give you something. Let me give you one that's current. Do you think Candace Owens is a victim of exercising her First Amendment rights? Now she was working for a private organization, but they prided themselves in letting people say what they wanted to say until it came against their boys, right? So is she a victim, or is she just a person who worked for somebody and who was comfortable with them as a shield, and then she pierced the shield and she got kicked out?
I'll make it simple. Her value had reached its limit, and she felt like she thought she could go further than what it is, not realizing they put a cap on what you can do and cannot do. So I can call you a victim if you knew what you were doing a long time ago, and it would benefit for them for a long period of time until you attack their interests. The moment we attack their interests, oh, we gotta let you go. Like I cannot call that a victim. They know what they were doing. They
Oh,
paid her well to do what she's supposed to do. Now that she feel like she can say what you want and not realize there's a limit to what you can say, I can't call her a victim. Nah, it's very
the
simple. What you saw is what
easy
you reap.
money, Candace Owens supporter. We know her, but
There you
she had
go.
she's
It's that simple. What you sow is what you reap. The problem in the country, everybody want to play both sides of the field.
all right.
Come on,
So listen,
let's be
okay.
real.
Well, let me ask you this. Okay, she got a white zaddy, and he's been strangely silent through all of this while his wife is dangling out there in the diaspora.
He knows better not to put his head out there.
Well,
Hello.
yeah, see, but then he's a coward, right? If he's not,
Mm,
come on,
I,
Black David. Wait a minute. Wait a second. I mean, you're gonna see your wife get vilified like that. Don't say nothing.
can I ask you a
Don't
question?
say anything.
Can I ask you a question? If
Yes.
I'm a husband and I got business sense and I got clients and know
Yeah.
damn
That's
well
right. So
You think I'm gonna
he said,
jeopardize
hey,
my bid?
listen,
So
honey, I can
hold
replace
on. Like Anton said, I'm gonna
I'll
say,
replace your ass too.
will you jeopardize the bag? Like, come on, let's be real.
What you're trying to say is, listen,
Will
honey,
you
you out there on
be
your
a neck
own and
out there
shit.
and jeopardize the bag? Come on, stop it,
That's
stop
true,
it.
though. That's exactly, he's making a business decision. I can replace your ass. You know what I'm
Okay, now.
saying? I can't lose this business.
Right
Hey,
now we
Trey
got
Ferg,
Trey
you
Ferg in
back
the
there?
back. He joined us audially.
What's up, Trey?
What's up, fellas? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man. What you
Loud and
got on
clear.
the topic?
Man, look, I done tried to keep up with all these rabbit holes, man, today.
He asked for it. He
This
asked
is
for it. I didn't give it to him.
wow. Hello.
I guess just work my way backwards, man. Well, let me start from the topics. You know, the
Okay.
amendments, yeah, they seem great as you read them. They sound like, okay, you'll be able to get these liberties in America. However, they wasn't written with us in mind when they were writing those amendments. So they do fluctuate depending on who you are, what you got. If you play the game in the industry and you get out there, you making money for the big wigs. At some point, when your term is up, you see what's happening. Almost everybody that's been in this spot, and I'm not just talking about, you know, your boy R. Kelly and Puff Daddy. You know, shit, when Bill Cosby was trying to tell ninjas to get their stuff together, and he was traveling the country, what they try to do? They came back and found the ugliest white woman in the world, the ugliest, the manliest chick, and say he did something. Then after they put him in jail, then they had to release him because it's talking about something, you know. So they changed it and manipulated how they want. We just got to understand that. I think it's when we do discover these type of laws and things, you know, and it's all in our face. We're just not going back to try to take advantage of it. You got to read it and understand how it goes from both sides, because there's always a leniency of the law and enforcement of the law. So you got to learn those. And as colored people, we always go get the enforcement. The enforcement is going to be the fines, the jail time, the probation, everything, community service. Other people, they may get off with a $1,500, $2,000 fine, maybe some community services. Their kids ain't no felony on their record, ain't nothing on their record. They can go back and can enjoy their regular life that it was meant for them to be. But as far as us, you know, with the Diddy thing, you know, it's unfortunate in our community. We so unique that, you know, we sometimes we ask for our own pain and our own trouble. You know, we convict each other without evidence. We just see what's going on. We saw them raid his house. They just really tore it up. You know, I ain't seen them take too much out. They ain't say nothing about what they took out. Now, normally they say what they found. They got some discs. They talk about how they went into Trump's house and got all the discs and, you know, the files and all that. They ain't say nothing about Puffy. They said they went in there and they ain't say they found nothing. They just talk about how then you see the pictures, how they just tore it up. You know, I agree. Puffy's an asshole. And, you know, it's a lot of people that's hung out with Puffy. It's a lot of people that they ain't saying hung out with Puffy. White people just tell them they self because we don't want to be out there like, oh, I was hanging out with Puffy. Hell, you know, it is
Well,
what
but,
it is
you know,
with
he's
that.
been doing this thing for 30 years, man.
Yeah, so he's made a career of it, and think about all the people that has allowed him to do that in that space, and all the people that have been connected to that in the music industry. So now that he's not making money for them anymore, because remember, Puffy was just a billionaire. The little chick came out, she give it to white dude. Now all of a sudden it's a problem. He was with him before the Kim Porter died. So what do you know? You know, so the dude, he understand, the white dude, he got his bag. Like, you don't mess around with this brother, you better get a bag off of him. Now you ain't heard nothing else about it. Now they raid his house. You know, I don't know. He probably was on some most foul stuff, but he ain't doing it because ain't nobody ever heard of Puffy or sexually assault nobody. It's the first time you ever heard.
Ferg, hold on for a second. You're right. I'm gonna let you go. Right? He is. Let's just say he was in all this wild shit. But as long as he was doing it with consulting adults, then I don't see no crime. As if he was doing things with underage and kids, that's another thing.
That's perverse.
You know, I know that the chick that got the bag. You know, I don't know how old she was when he started with her, and all I know is that she stayed with him for 10 years. Maybe she has Stockholm syndrome. Maybe she didn't.
Come on, man.
Uh,
You can't make
So
that
maybe
explain
some
up.
of
this.
the things that,
Oh, hold on, hold on. Explain it. How did Kid Cudi got his car blown up?
well, hold on. Let's get to that. Let me just finish this. All I know is that P. Diddy should have probably compensated her before he threw her to the wolves, because he could have anticipated that while he was still making money and she was out there with the wolves, she's going to come back. And especially with the new laws now that you could come up with any kind of allegation, and he's going to be guilty in the court of public opinion. Now, I don't know about Kid Cudi's car being blown up and shit like that. We're gonna say Diddy did that?
Man, listen, man. When you
Oh,
listen,
come on, man. Listen,
When
man.
you
come on,
live
Okay.
when you live
No,
in New York,
listen. I
if
mean,
you
okay.
know
He
about
flew.
some of these people, this has
Well,
been
let me
known.
ask you, what's the age of consent in New York? You know,
18.
is it
pretty much
17? Is it 16?
it's an average of whatever. Sometimes some
You know,
states it's
so
18,
the
18,
18.
point I'm
21.
trying to
It's not
say is, I
16.
don't think it's 18.
It's not
I
16.
think it's
It's not
well,
16.
whatever the
Trust me.
consent
It's
is.
not.
In 2003, he flew with somebody 17 years old. 2003. Was this 21 years later?
2003, 23 would have been like 21. All right, now it's about 18. So trust me. Don't forget, R. Kelly, when he talked about he got married to you know what, and the homegirl was 15. What do you think happened? They had to scrub that real quickly.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, her parents. I mean, you know, listen. I mean, there's a
Dude,
price to pay for when people are on their own at young ages. There's a price to pay. They're gonna do dumb shit. They're gonna be taken advantage
yeah,
of.
but
I mean,
lately,
that's gonna happen. I mean, I'm not saying it's right, but that's what happens.
a lot of artists who were offered deal from these music executives, they had been spurring the bean for years. So there's not no one
But
thing on. There's too many,
but
way
fellas,
too
you
many.
gotta look at
No, man,
money.
no,
Listen, fellas, regardless of whether you black, white, or whatever, indifferent. When you
right.
get money like that, that reveals your true character. When
That's
you got
true.
millions.
That's
These
true.
guys that mess around with these underage women, listen, man, listen. And I've been liking black women since my mother birthed me, and all the sisters I had, and all the girlfriends I had as high school, and all the beautiful
Okay.
women I've seen when I traveled around the country. There's no way in hell that once I turn 21, well, really 18 for me, but 21, you should be dating anybody under 21. I don't give a damn. I don't care who you are.
When
I
you
don't care
turn
if you're
21, you
35.
shouldn't date anybody under 21.
Hell no. You're a grown ass man. You're a
So,
grown ass man.
no, that's
I mean,
cool.
she's 20. If she's 20
Okay,
and you
this.
start,
All right,
hold on.
this. That's what I was
Let me
gonna
break. Well, let me break it down. Let me break it down. If y'all
All
started
right.
out in high school together and y'all in high school together, that's your
Okay.
love. But when you a
Okay. So
grown
now,
ass man, no, I'm saying what I mean by once I turn 21 and I'm in Texas, New Orleans, I'm in California. There's no way I should be going to nobody's high school talking about, hey, little girl.
I
Hell
agree with
no. I'm a
that,
grown
man.
man.
I
I
mean,
can go
I
to
agree
every
with that.
club. I can go to every establishment in the country. There's not one establishment I can't go to. I'm looking for grown ass women, and that
You know,
money.
so it's Easy Money Jones. You got proof for all of this shit. You know, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Only if
listen,
you
we make a
only
statement.
if you knew what people
No,
have
no,
been
no, no, no,
talking
no,
about.
no. We
I'm
got
sorry,
police reports and proof for all of this.
that's been known.
No,
This is
no.
New
I'm
York.
talking
You answer a simple question. Is there on record?
Do TMZ?
police
First of all, I'll look at it like this. Do TMZ got the photos and the video and all that? If TMZ ain't got it, it's suspect. Because they're going to sell it for the bag. Because whoever got it, going to give it up for the bag. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
Come
not
on,
even
man.
doubting that. Well, shit, first of all, I'm not doubting that he did all these things, but people was just saying shit
Yes,
with no
Easy Money,
receipts.
police reports. Where TMZ at?
You
Tell
know,
TMZ
come
to
on.
get the video.
Yeah. Okay, no police reports are needed.
Trust me.
Okay,
Too many
how
people
about a medical? What about a medical report or something?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hold
Where's
on.
the
Let me explain.
hospital?
Let me explain. for a Casey case, which will be explained and will be confirmed, it was proven that PD went to the hospital to remove the medical record and get those hidden for a reason.
Hold up.
You know what?
Hold up. Did he say P. Diddy went to the hospital and got the hospital records?
Yeah.
When you have money,
Oh,
like,
you
you have money. No, in New York City, New York City have a bad reputation of bending for rich people.
So all the doctors that do it, y'all need to go to jail.
New
too.
York
Y'all
City
need to
have
be-
a bad
the judge.
reputation
Come on, man. That's
for bending for rich folks.
No,
I'll be
no.
honest with you.
Yeah,
You know,
wow.
Why?
it's,
Then explain why when JD was having his baby, they had to shut down the whole house because of for his woman. Like, come on. That's unprofessional.
They ain't want nobody around with his germs. I mean, them niggas carry germs. They don't wash their hands and brush, you know. Shit, they got
listen, man, he might have had wings cut off because of the different kind of people who might want to go and take a picture of her in labor and shit like that. You know, that's the kind of thing he was going to. Hey, information, man. Come on, man. Let's go, man.
I'm not going to be on here for a minute because I got somewhere. I just wanted to talk.
How you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. I want to just make some mention of the P. Diddy situation. The reason why they raided his house is because of many reports. When they look, you got to understand how the feds work. I've got friends that work in the feds, Homeland Security, the whole 9 yards. When Cassie filed her complaint, even though she settled out of court or he gave her money, it didn't stop the feds from still investigating this man because they've had other allegations against him. He's got 4 suits against him. He's got a suit coming his way from a dancer that was in his group. I did a video yesterday, brother. I went deep into the hole on this guy. There are tons of people that were in Bad Boy Records who do not like him. Mark Curry, his bodyguards who have, if you look at the art, see, y'all talking about stuff, but y'all need to look at the art of the dialogue where you got people who actually were in his circle, seeing the shit he was doing, the things that he was doing to Casey, he was doing to Kim Porter, who, by the way, Arpain was getting ready to come out with a tell-all book about his escapades. But then all of a sudden she ends up gone. Everybody that's about to come out with shit on him, he's gone. Now, there's rumors out there now, according to people that know him, could he be working for the feds? Could he have cut a deal with the feds? Who knows? But it's not only about what happened with these allegations of sex trafficking. This is the key. If he was involved with Cassie and he was going to different places, different states, and she was having sex with prostitutes, that's considered trafficking of a person. She was 19 years old. See, what we do as Black people is that we make too many excuses for celebrities and people that we like because we're caught up in this Messiah and personality contest. P. Diddy has been garbage for years. Look at what he did to Mace. Mace has come out and talked about this, how he robbed him, mistreated him as far as his royalties, his money. Many artists have come out and gotten away from P. Diddy. Okay, there's people that have gone to his parties, like a 50 Cent and many up. Well, and they didn't like what the experience was, all this touchy shit. On my channel yesterday, I showed a video of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson wanted no part of Diddy. Diddy was trying to do something strange to him. I got it on video. So when you do a deep dive on people that are telling you accounts that they witness, such as this on my channel yesterday, he's got another lawsuit coming, Arpain. The woman, Miss Rubin, who said that she was shot by him in 1999 when he was with J-Lo or J-Ho. She said, no, he was the one that shot me. It wasn't Shine. That whole thing was, take it as it is. And it is a known fact by those that were in his inner circle who have talked about this openly, that he had certain connections into the law enforcement in New York that protected him during that situation in 1999. That woman is asking for bullet fragments to be removed from her face or nose because she wants to see him pay the price for what he did in 1999. It's been 25 years from now. So You can say, well, he's not guilty of doing sexual things. He's guilty of a lot of other things.
Well, hold on. Can I say something, Mr.
Go
Information?
ahead, man. But I'm just
I
saying,
didn't
if
say-
you're going to talk about these issues,
wait,
have
hold
your
on for a-
information correct,
No,
brother,
no,
because
no,
I'll destroy you.
No,
I'll destroy you on everything you talked about today. Don't let me get into Trump. Oh, I got so much dirt on Trump. They can shut all that shit down. All these politicians ain't shit, brother. All of them ain't no shit.
I know that.
You sitting up here showing Tucker Carlson, he ain't nothing but a good old,
Well,
good
hold
old
on,
racist.
brother. I'm gonna let you come
now.
back. I'm gonna let you. I'm
sitting
gonna let
up
you.
here, listen, watching what
No,
you putting
wait,
out,
hold on
brother.
for a second,
You got
man.
no
Before
facts to
you
back
go
up what
off,
you're saying.
hey,
You don't want to take
listen.
me on our pain. I'll destroy you because I come with
Okay.
facts. I come with data, brother. And I'm the wrong person
Well, of
to
course
fuck
you're
with
gonna
when it
destroy
comes to
me
these
if you
type of
ain't gonna let
subject matters.
nobody speak.
Well,
Well,
go ahead, brother. But if you're gonna talk about it, come with your facts and your information.
I'm coming with a fact. I'm coming with one fact.
Go ahead. I'll listen because I got to get out of here.
I'm coming with one fact.
We
The
got to
one
get this
fact
so
is,
exciting.
I
That's all.
never
Bringing the
said
excitement.
that he was innocent of anything. I'm saying that all before we convict him in a court of public opinion, he needs
Yeah,
to
that's
stay
true.
in court.
That's true.
That's all I really said. And I
That's true.
started with a preamble that I ain't protecting none of these guys. Okay, I'm just saying. So I believe all your facts. I believe there's enough data out there. I'm just saying that whatever presumption of innocence you just said, based on all you said, is that shit's going for him. He's not going to get a fair trial with all of this shit that you just said in this country. And whether he deserves one or not, that's another story.
Right.
But
I
the
think
fact is, that's all I'm saying, information, man.
you.
So I hear you. I hear you, man.
I want to drop off, but I want to leave with this.
All right.
Ed Lover and Uncle Luke, and I had that on my video yesterday, made compelling points that this also could be a situation in which he's going against a major liquor company corporation, and they might be trying to destroy him because, like Uncle Luke said, they build you up, they give you the riches, the money, and if you go against them, because he did file a lawsuit, it's interesting that when he filed that lawsuit, that all of a sudden all these things are unraveling for him. And who knows, this probably is part of what's going on. Look, I don't like to see a black man go through something like this, but if he's guilty of anything, he has to have his time in court to plead his case. They have to find him guilty. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He has not been charged with anything, but you know this, R-Pain. You know this, that the feds take a long time. It's almost like they roast a pig, right? You know, when you roast a pig or a turkey, you take your time, you base it, you turn it around, twirl it around. You say, let that motherfucker cook real good, nice and easy. And then we're going to go in for the kill and eat it, right? So the feds, God knows what they might be cooking up in the background, brother. But if they don't get him on sex trafficking, there's plenty of other things that they might open the door to, because he has a lot of lawsuits from various people that were around him that are trying to hold him accountable for whatever he was doing. Now, I went on Little Rod's Instagram site.
Okay.
He's got some video clips on there. One of them in particular where P. Diddy's sort of talking about him in a negative way because of the issues around him, saying that they're trying to take his publishing and what have you. According to my man, Glenn Deal, he says, that they were trying to take his publishing, that he would do things to intimidate that young man. So who knows what's really going on? But for everybody that's listening to the channel right now, when you get a chance, check out a channel called The Art of Dialogue, where you can actually hear from the people who can give you witness accounts of the shit that was going on behind the scenes. Because these are people that they're not suing him for anything. They've moved on with their life, but they have seen some things. So I take people like that. I know we know people can make up stories and try to get clout chase, but I take people like that a lot more serious, because they're telling you things that they only know because they're in the industry. Another thing on my video, there's a guy by the name of Reggie Wright, who's in the industry. He predicted that P. Diddy was going to get his homes raided months in advance before any of this stuff happened, because he was telling him there's a guy named Keith Didi. There was they were saying that whatever you guys have been doing, you better go over to one of these islands where they don't have expedition. He said, because what's going to happen is they're going to raid the homes, and we know that Diddy is pretty good at getting rid of stuff. So that was a prediction. And then remember when they were doing the they were doing the investigation on who killed Tupac? Yeah. A lot of us have forgotten that one of the guys that was involved in the investigations, he was on Vlad TV's channel. And he said that there was a rumor that was put out there that Puffy Combs wanted both Shug and Tupac to be out of the box. And also, Mr. Dill himself, he actually heard him say this. This is what his claim is, Art Payne. I'm just saying this is what his claim is that P. Diddy had made whispers about wanting Biggie Smalls out the way. So, you know, I heard there's a lot of shit going on in these YouTube
listen,
streets.
Man, I hear what you're saying. I like the passion about it, but that's why I preface everything I said. But I'm gonna mention some names.
I know what you're saying,
and I'm not saying these guys are innocent.
No, Art Payne. Honestly, brother, I just came up here to pull your goat to get the show exciting and popping. Get a little debate going. But no, Art Payne, but let me say, brother. But in the beginning, you made good points. Look, I don't want nobody to walk away and think that I love the Democratic Party. Do not. You did make legitimate points as it relates to how the Democrats operate. You made legitimate points about how people who have been indicted, even if these are people that we don't like, that the way they go about these indictments and how it opens up a can of worm on people, you're absolutely right. But you know, Art Payne, that when it comes to men versus women, nobody's there to protect us. Nobody's there to say, give them a break. They're going to always put these laws hard against men. Absolutely. Right? Yes. And unfortunately, that's the world that we live in as men. And that's what makes us men, because we know what the reality is. We deal with it, right? We don't cry in a corner. We say, this is what it is. So you did make compelling points there. So, you know,
listen, man, I appreciate you coming up, man.
I could tell that you have a deep hatred for the Democrats, man. You got a deep hatred.
You don't know, man. You don't know, man. I've been living with them longer than you. You know,
you got a deep hatred.
I'm not finished yet, man. That's wait till my part of the thoughts. Anyway, but hey, listen, man, I appreciate you coming.
I'm gonna get off.
I'm gonna have to check out your channel, man.
Gotta go drop mine. Oh, you can check out the video. Now, in the video, I was very fair. I didn't just make a video and say, okay, he's guilty. I opened up the show saying that he hasn't been charged, but I opened up now check this out. This is another thing, Art Payne, that's gonna blow you away. Everybody thought that Usher was 14 or 13 when he was with P. Diddy for a year. Come to find out, and I got the video, P. Diddy says it out of his own mouth. I've been knowing this young brother since he was 10 years old. We used to wake up in the morning in the bed. But when he said it, he slipped at the mouth and he caught himself, right? And because Usher came in and it was Kevin Hart that was there. And he said he was 10 years old. But when he was on the guy with the curly hair, the Howard Stern show, Howard Stern kept saying, hey, well, how were those parties? And he kept saying, well, they were curious. You all saw those videos, right? Check this out. You can make an argument that he could have been charged for child endangerment because Usher said that he saw all sorts of things going on. Allegedly. He said it was interesting. He said he was staying up late. There was booze and stuff there, and you got an underage minor. That's a violation right there. But check this out. Then I played a video of his mother. See, this is, once again, women, you got to be better accountable for your kids. The mother said that she didn't even know who he was or what his reputation was, and she still let her son go with him because it was a business transaction for him to learn the business, right? And L.A. Reid was the one that suggested this. And L.A. Reid, he's got all kinds of allegations against him too, right? Check this out. The mother said that it was that she did it because it was business. Out of her own mouth. She sold her son off to Diddy for business because why? Because I want my son to be a big star and what have you, right? And of course, Usher admitted that his mother and family didn't know what the hell was going on at those parties that he was exposed to, right? You saw it. He said, hell no. So that right there, I have a problem. As parents,
Yes.
we
Yeah.
got to be better stewards over our kids, even if we're trying to get them in the entertainment. You can't let a child be with a grown-ass man
Right.
and you don't do any background check on him and what he does. Everybody knew that back in the 90s he partied. And wait till you see that video where Mike Tyson had to move his hand. They was on the Ken Ivy Wayne show when he had a show back in the day, and he had his hands or something near Mike Tyson's thigh. Something was going on, and Mike Tyson picked his hand up and looked at his hand, looked at him, put it down on his lap, and then Mike Tyson popped around like this, moved a little bit back, and P. Diddy had a look on his face like, I know I fucked up. I'm telling you, man. And then 50 Cent's talking about, man, I went to his party. I'm getting hugged in the front, hugged in the back. I'm getting sandwiched. You know, men don't hug like that. We go in for a quick minute and then we pile out. But
we only hug with one hand.
Right, but you got photographs where P. Diddy is rumping people's. Look, this is my whole thing. This is my whole theme in the show.
Oh man, that's funny, man.
If you're gay, be gay. But a lot of these dudes, man, in the industry, they be trying to act manly, and behind closed doors, they getting their cheeks blown out. I even showed a photo because there was something going on with Lil Wayne and Birdman. Oh God, you gotta watch it.
Yeah, all right,
man. Have a good time.
Let me roll, man.
I gotta get out of here.
What you got?
Coming in on fire, brother.
Shout out to Information Man. Information Man, drop the truth every now and then.
Hey, listen, man. You had something else? Because I was gonna show that last clip, man. Show that last clip, man. Because I wanna, clip number 3.
Yeah, that's
and
a
this
lot of
one
information.
driving home, and this is fun.
You got too much information today.
So you said you were with the FBI, and why won't you show me your credentials?
We did.
I didn't take a look at them. I said, 1 second, I'll be right back. Are you going to show me your credentials or no?
Yeah, we did already. So, and we identified ourselves. So what we'd like to do.
I didn't look at your credentials. Again, I didn't verify them. I told you to wait, and I went inside.
Okay, that's correct. What we'd like to do is just have a conversation with you about some social media posts that you've made. Would you be willing to talk to us today about that?
No, I would not. I would like you to later talk on with my lawyer.
Okay.
Do you have identification?
So they came to this woman's house. All right. I mean, I don't know if these are actual FBI or not. I don't know. But I do know they're wearing plain clothes, but they've been known to do that before as well. But they came to her house. Let me continue.
Cards? No. I'll get back to you.
Okay. All right.
Do you mind having your attorney contact the FBI office in Oklahoma City?
What's the number? What are the names of the agents?
I'll Google it for you.
So you're refusing to identify yourselves?
No, we've already identified ourselves.
Again, I did not take a look.
Okay, so the phone number for the FBI in Oklahoma City is 405-290-7770.
Okay.
If you just call me, we'll be able to get your contact with us. I'll be happy to support you.
And tell him that Facebook flagged me for posts.
Facebook gave us a couple screenshots of your accounts.
Okay. So we no longer live in a free country and we can't say what we want?
No, we totally do.
Let me pause here. So did you guys hear what she just said? She said that Facebook flagged her for posts. So that's why they're at her house. And I want you to see this, not just because I want you to see how your privacy could be infringed upon, but also because I want you to understand how you can respond if this were to happen to you. You don't have to show them your ID. You don't have to let them in your house. This is a common mistake that some people make, even when law enforcement comes to your house and knocks on the door and says, "Can we come in?" You do not have to let them in. If they do not have a warrant, they don't have to come into your house.
That's why we're not here to arrest you or anything like that.
Well, you can't arrest me for freedom of speech. We live in America.
Yes, right.
Exactly. So it's kind of weird that you want to come talk to me about me exercising my freedom of speech.
We do this every day, all day long, talk to people.
Okay.
It's just.
Did you hear what he just said there? He said, we do this every day, all day long. Again, this is happening under Joe Biden's administration.
an effort to keep everybody safe, make sure that nobody has any ill will or bad intent or anything like that. And we've got no reason to believe necessarily that that's you, and that's why we just wanted to have a conversation.
So do you have a conversation with everybody on the neighborhood?
Do you have information that anybody else in the neighborhood?
I mean, all I've done is exercise my right as an American citizen on a public social media platform with my personal opinions. Correct? Okay. Most of the individuals.
You muted our pain.
You're muted again by the mute monster.
There you go. Listen, I mean, this is my point. That's my last point for the evening. This shit is going on in real time. She put a couple of posts on Facebook. Now, I don't know what she said, right? I really don't know what she said. So we don't know. But it had to do a little bit, because I had some clues by looking at the whole thing, with the fact that the orange man was at the funeral for the dead cop that got murdered by those guys who were casing the joint. And Biden and Obama and Clinton were in Radio City Music Hall raising money at the same time at the funeral, right? So they had all the protesters out there, and then the orange man that everybody hates was at the funeral. Okay, and so you juxtapose those two things. I don't know what she said on Facebook, but the fact that Facebook, like Trey has said, a private organization founded upon themselves to give those posts to the FBI, should be frightening to everybody. You know, that's what I'm saying. I don't know why people are trying to say we're okay. We're not. You know, the Democrats are closing in on a free society and saying anybody who talks about the LBGYNs, you talk about the small hats, you talk about anything we don't want you to talk about, we're coming for you. We are coming for you. And it doesn't matter how high on the totem pole you are or how low. You know what I mean? That shit should be having people frightening. You know, anyway, Trey, go ahead.
I would just say this. What they're doing right now is proving a reason why multiple countries are pushing back against them. What they're doing is shown on TV, so they can't go to Africa or go to any other country and say we don't like what color you are. No, I'm being logically speaking and technically speaking on this aspect. Plus, it's also legal, because when you want to tell another country, another nation, sovereign nation, how they're supposed to make their law, they're gonna look at you, sir, before you speak. Go back to your own country, fix your own mess first. When you clean up your mess and everything looking clean, then you can come and say something to it. But until then, that needs to be stopped.
Sugar Bump said I'm crazy as hell. That's funny, man. Yeah, I am a little crazy. Thank you.
But that's the problem right now.
Is Trey Ferg gone?
He's still here.
I'm still here, man.
Yeah, man. You guys, I'm gonna kind of close things down because I got some parting thoughts. I gotta go. So, you got anything? You got anything?
In the last video, you know, it's first of all, Facebook. It appears to be private, but it's still owned by the government. Why you think he's in front of Congress and those guys? They already cutting the deal in the back. What you see is the play for the people. Most Americans are on Facebook. Facebook is around the world. People are using all the social media apps, so they're all connected. Some just more than others. As far as that, I mean, I don't know, man. Them coming to my house looking like that, you know, it is suspect to me, because if you are who you are, you should have a badge. Damn, get some cards printed out before you start going into people's houses, because everybody ain't gonna be as friendly. And you know, it's all a big game. We all are subject to get raided at any time. America is the big bully monster. That's what America is.
I admired her poise, man. You could just hear them. She was holding on by a thread, man.
So, because Saprita, first of all, they wouldn't have let Saprita talk as much as her. Saprita would have eventually got upset, and it would have been a whole different outcome. They'd have grabbed her, and they'd had 4 or 5 hem uppers, meaning they'll hem your ass up. So it's a difference They ain't going to the black communities like that.
Well, wait a minute now. I'm not so sure she wasn't black.
Well, whether she was or not, they're not going to the black communities like it. They come to the black
I mean,
community.
they would have to have some kind of, yeah. I mean, the lady said that the FBI walks around. I mean, this is your final thoughts. Go ahead, man.
I mean, I don't know what city that's in. You know, if they are doing that, it should bring people's awareness to be more cautious, you know, on what you say, how you say it. You can always say it. You just got to understand how you say it and just move accordingly, man. Whatever you do, you can't put everything out there, you know, because I don't see America getting better with all this nonsense. I see us getting worse.
Yeah,
it's my thing about them. You know, it's my final thought.
Yeah, man.
You know, in order for us to really change our individual dynamics, our own personal dynamics or family, whatever, you know, you got to take a lot of this information and apply it to you as it fits. If it doesn't apply to you, don't let it stick. Don't let everything everybody say affect you.
Right.
Let what you do affect you. You got to put in the work, man. I mean, yeah, they're going to come out the Diddy. You know, the next dude they get up in there and become a billionaire and start trying to go against, you know, what's right. You know, Diddy's an asshole. I'm not taking up for him. Anybody mess with children, y'all need to go to the bottom of the jail. They need to name a new one out there because I don't play that. I got children, and I work with children. They're the most beautiful, innocent, dynamic creatures in the world. So if you fuck with them, you burn. But as far as everybody who's a part of that industry, they know what they signed up for. And if Diddy had that much power in the city of New York, remember, his hands not only touch New York. Now, with the rumors that they say, because I heard about that rumor, I was in the military, that he probably had a hand in both Biggie and Tupac. So if he can reach to California, he's not playing that game by himself. He's not pulling no triggers. Everybody that pulled the trigger, everybody that covered it up, everybody that exchanged, all of them, everybody need to be punished. Let it be a whole new, fresh way for the young artists and the young, you know what I'm saying, the young entrepreneur coming up. But all this underhand in it, and that goes for everybody that played the record execs, everybody. It's going to continue to destroy us. And then you young brothers and sisters, y'all come together, save your money, become the music exec. If you can rap it. If you can do the engineering board like brother Black David, do that shit. Y'all come together, y'all sign legal contracts to say if anything happens, y'all get equal money. And keep your feelings out of that shit. And don't date the same girl in the circle. No, you never date the same girl. That's weak. Find you a new one. That's all I got, man. It's a whole lot, man.
That's cool, man. Yeah, Black Man Unfiltered said, man, the parenting by estoppel is going to get you.
Yes, it is.
What you got, Black David, before I go? Oh, now you're on mute, I think, CBS.
I'll just say this: before you defend anybody, do your deep home dive information, man. Says because there's so much going on that people don't realize been happening before we went out defending anybody. I learned that lesson from my uncle because he was a journalist, and he always like to go deep dive and deep digging before he say anything. When you find so much stuff pile up over time, the best thing you can do is step back and be like, I'm not gonna defend him. I'm gonna watch how this thing falls. If he able to defend himself from all this, then lucky for him. If not, he got caught up with. Because that's what's going on. You have people in power who like to abuse their power, think they can get away with it, not realizing they will get caught with a mess. Right now, we got BMU in the back. He's in right now.
Hey man, before you get out, hey man, good show tonight. Good show. I just wanted to come on and give my boy his flowers. Good show, man. Good numbers. A lot of people watching, so you had something good to listen to tonight and watch tonight. I just want to say, man, you know, everybody in this country right now is guilty until proven innocent. It's not innocent until proven guilty. And how that works is you can say everything you want to say about Diddy, but all those men that Diddy fucked in the ass, they've been over. So all those men that if Diddy's is fucking them in the ass, they bent over and gave it to Diddy. That Diddy ain't take nothing from nobody. Diddy made an offer, and as these people are coming out with these rumors, they're telling on themselves. Diddy told me he would take care of my bills. Diddy told me he would give me $5 million. You bent over, got stroked out, got a stomach full of kids, and now,
According to Cat Williams.
right, right. And so my thing is, get it.
Oh, you fell off.
Yeah, he fell out.
Did he caught him? He said, hey, stop snitching on me.
You know, and listen, I'll tell you, I don't know, is he back? Oh, he fell back out. Well, anyway, so go ahead, Black Dave. You got more? You got some?
No, I just mean we had to do our homework because these days, I would say that I'm not a fan of defending any powerful person because one, they're not innocent, and two, you be about how much dirt they have to kind of cover up before you realize you be like, oh my God, I didn't know he did X, Y, and Z. I learned that lesson the hard way living in another country. Anyone in power, don't
Yeah,
be
my
so
bad.
quick to defend them.
Yeah, but you knew you was gonna have to give up some ass. When Diddy told you, I'm gonna give you $8 million. I'm gonna give you $2 million. You knew it. When Diddy told you come in his bedroom with me and spend the night with me, you knew you was gonna have to give up some of that ass. So he ain't begged nobody for nothing. Diddy say I got a plan for you. You want this record deal? Bend over. You want to go? You want to be a superstar? Bend over. If you want to be on the video with me, suck it.
Jesus Christ.
And guess what they did? They bent over. Matter of fact, it's some audio leak right now that they took from the raid, I think. It's some audio leaking of Diddy having sex with Meek Mill. And Meek Mill in there taking that dick like a natural man.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the same thing that a bunch of the Me Too women who became millionaires did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bill Cosby, listen how dumb this is. Bill Cosby touched my pussy in 1973, and I want him in jail in 2024. What the hell?
The ugliest chick out there too.
Hey, bruh, did you see her? She like a half-turned werewolf. Did you see her?
She walked through her like Alonzo Mourning with her shoulders up.
These hoes ain't loyal.
So listen, there's a de facto war on men because these laws, like, they're pointed right at men. These are fractions and all that stuff. And even though sometimes women get caught up in the net, it's only working because, you know, men are on the other side of the victimization, especially powerful men. And it seems like everybody wants to get back at them for whatever transgression they may have done. And if you miss your statute of limitations, let's open up the door so you can unlimitedless come after these guys for forever, always and forever. That's just crazy. That's crazy, man.
But I'm saying, don't you? And this is the way I see it a lot of times. You know, yes, when brothers fall into that gamut of like debauchery and evilness game or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, yes, they should get their punishments, but those games are not allowed without others that are a pay grade above them, and those guys get off like you never. The law, it may consist of some type of behavior, but it's never like you don't hear where people are coming back suing years later, taking their money. When you know, because when they making the money, nobody says nothing. But when you get to a certain level, you know, and I understand why some athletes, especially when they get to a certain level, you know, I'm hearing them speak about anything. And a lot of them, you know, they don't. If you get married, that'll help you. But the guys that's been out here, like the behavior of Puffy, made it, like you said, it's been going on for 30 years. He done made a lot of people a lot of money, and they let him do it. Because think about it, he had people in. If you say, like they would say, he had the police. So it's people higher than the police that understand that behavior and move in that capacity. He's just one of the brothers that was doing it. Now, I'm gonna hate to see how many other brothers who we love to go see on stage, their story come out like, oh man, y'all always out there like that. It's scary. It's scary.
So let me go ahead, man. Let me go ahead and take my last little piece here, man, so we can go ahead and get up out of here. Listen, like I said in the beginning, I do not want to defend these guys for their bad behavior, but I want to defend the Constitution because it protects all of us, not just the bad guys. It protects the good guys. And if they could skip the Constitution, man, and get to these guys just because they're bad, That's a slippery slope I don't want to go down, because at some point we're all going to be on the other side of what they want. But here's my last thing on black men leading the black community, whatever is left of it, into the future. I think we talk too much about relationships. If black men want to lead the black community into a future, we have to make sure in November of 2024 that the Democrats lose every swing state in the country. I don't care if you like Republicans or not. We got to tear this shit down. We gotta break the icy, cold, dead hand of the Democrats on the black community any way we can. And I'm gonna be a voice. I don't care if I can get one or two people who care about that. And I'm starting to hear more and more. And even like that lady at the end, who's a sister. But I'm not talking about bringing sisters as part of this coalition. You want men? We have nothing. The Democrats have absolutely nothing in their planks for us. Nothing. They're breaking out. They broke our families. They've given our women incentives to leave us alone. They put us in jail in groves. They do all the shit that are anti-black male. And so what I'm saying is, the way we pay these assholes back is to either one, vote independent, vote for Republicans, or don't vote at all. And let me argue this whole bullshit that if you don't vote, you are leaving out dead ancestors in a way. That's bullshit. That's another talking point. You know why? Because our ancestors would never tell us to vote for these goddamn people. They would never tell us to vote for people like that, who are against our best interests. So black men out there, for the one or two of you who hear me, I know you've been programmed just like all the rest of us for years that the Democrats, the big angry white people, going to get you if you don't vote us in, racism this, racism that. It's all bullshit, man. Racism is not our biggest issue anymore. It's not. It's not. It's classism and it's everything else. So all I can say to you is, black men, if you want to make a change, let's tear all this shit down. Make the Democrats lose in November. And when they come out after us and say, because the black men, it's all your fault. They come out to vote. Everybody stand up and hold your Johnsons and tell them, you goddamn right, it's us. We're the ones who did it. And you know what? And if you want us back, you're going to have to give us legislation that we could feel before we vote for your asses again. Period. And if you can't do that, go lick on P. Diddy's ass. Anyway, so listen, that's all I have to say. And take this crazy ass man out here, like Sugar Plum said. Take me out. Let's go. Good night, everybody. Thanks for the chat.